When researching for a class project, it can be tempting to just use and cite the first resources you come across. The problem is that the best quality resources may take a little additional time and effort to find. So why should you take the time to make sure your resources are high quality? Quality resources provide a better foundation for your research. You will be better informed on your topic if the resources you are reading have high value. The references in your paper also affect your own credibility as an authority on a topic. Referencing quality resources shows critics of your paper that you have done sufficient research to be a trustworthy voice on your chosen topic. Finally, the benefits of quality references build to a better quality final product. Having a better research foundation and greater credibility leads to stronger papers and stronger projects. Knowing that you need quality resources is important, but you also need to make sure that you know what makes a resource quality in the first place. Evaluation criteria can vary slightly by format, so we'll discuss a few things specific to journal articles and websites in a minute. However, there are some basic criteria that can be applied when you are considering whether a resource is credible. The first is the author. Making sure that the author of the resource is identified is the first step. No clear author means that no one is taking responsibility for the content that you are viewing. Even if the author is clearly identified, you'll want to check the author's credentials and affiliations to make sure the author is an authority on the topic and to check for potential biases. You'll also want to consider the publisher of the resource. Who is publishing this work and why? Is it to entertain, to inform, or to persuade you to take a particular stance? The date that the work is published, and also the date of the last update, if we're talking about online material, is important for the currency of the information. Some topics may require that you be looking at the most up-to-date information, so knowing when the resource was published becomes very important. Finally, you'll want to make sure to evaluate the accuracy of the resource. Does it contain information that contradicts other information that you've gathered on a topic? Is the resource filled with spelling and grammar errors? Inaccuracy often points to little time and effort being spent to make the resource high quality. When you are evaluating journal articles, there are a couple things you want to pay particular attention to. The first is whether the journal is peer-reviewed. If something is peer-reviewed, it means that it has been evaluated by people of similar competence to the person who produced the work. That means if you're looking at an article in a psychology journal that has been peer-reviewed, that another psychologist or someone with extensive knowledge in the psychology discipline has looked over that article and deemed it to be worth including in the journal. This is an extra step of evaluation that often lends credibility to a resource and can help ensure that you are viewing quality publications. You also want to check the currency of any journal articles that you're reviewing. Currency is particularly important when it comes to journal articles because research is constantly being conducted and it may be vital to your topic to review the most recent information. This is a screenshot of one of our more popular psychology databases, PsycInfo. You'll notice that there are many options on the search screen, including to select only articles from peer-reviewed journals, and to select to restrict the publication dates of your results. For instance, you might select to only see articles published on your topic in the last 5 years. To get to PsycInfo or one of our other databases, start on the main library website. You can start by clicking on the Find Articles link, or you can check out the subject guide for the behavioral sciences by clicking on Find Resources by Subject. Regardless of how you choose to get there, make sure you take note of the great behavioral sciences resources that the library has to offer. When choosing a database to start your research, consider the following databases that specifically have journals and articles related to psychology, sociology, and social work. Descriptions and additional information about the databases are available on the library website. If you decide to look for information on a website instead of in a database, you won't have the same luxury of checking a box to ensure that you get peer-reviewed information. You'll need to take a couple of extra steps to check if the website you are viewing has good quality information. Start by paying attention to the domain of the web address. More reliable domains include .edu, which signals an educational site, .org, which signifies an organization's site, and .gov, which signifies a government site. Note the .edu on the end of Asbury's website denotes it as the website of an educational institution. You will also want to pay extra attention to the author and publisher of the website. If a site is not clearly marked with who or what group is in charge of the content on that page, then no one is taking responsibility for the information, and it may be less reliable. You also want to consider why the person or group created this page, whether to be informative, entertaining, etc., before you decide whether the information is appropriate for your research. Finally, check to see if the page has been recently updated. If the update date marked on the page is old, then the information may no longer be relevant or credible. On this example website, you can note some of the items we just discussed. The website domain is .gov, indicating that it is run by a government body. Also, the group in charge of the page is displayed prominently on the website. Although we cannot see the last date updated from this screenshot, we can see from the reference to 2013 that new content has been uploaded at least as recently as last year. If you are ever in doubt about whether a resource is reliable, don't hesitate to check with your instructor or a librarian. It is much better to have the discussion about the quality of a resource while you are still conducting research than to have your credibility questioned once the paper is turned in. Always ask for help if you need it. We're here to help.